everybody, it's Kelly and I'm in Black Thread Studio, and today is Sunday, August 22nd, and I'm gonna get outside today because it's nice out and we know that time's a wasting. It's already the end of August, and it just seems like the summer has flown by, and I want to go be outside today. I'm going to head to the lake when we're done. So today we're going to do the friend exchange, and I will talk about that. But I thought I'd also show you what I was working on last night. I just got done doing from Shirley's Cottage, and the article was about free stuff, Sunday night shopping. And so I thought, well, that would be fitting for me to show you this, because this was a free cross stitch pattern that I had gotten. I've recently gotten really hooked on watching Brendan and Karen from Fox and Rabbit, their Floss Tube channel, and I believe it was for their 1,000 subscriptions, which now I think they're way past 5,000 or close to it. I need to check that. Anyway, they did, and again, I'm sorry, not in color, they did this really cute chart, cherry monogram pincushion. So I think if you go to, they haven't had that many floss tubes. If I were you, I would just go back and start at number 1 and go through, but I think it might have been around their third one where they hit 1,000 that they ended up doing this giveaway, and there would be a link to it. I think there's also a link on their website, which would be Fox and Rabbit. Anyway, what I decided to do is, I will show you this when I get it done, but I'm trying to kind of do little projects to spruce things up before Rox comes, the end of, she's coming in 4 weeks. And so one of the things I did, I have shown you guys, if you go back, you can see my kitchen. I just have kind of a butcher block table, and my chairs were kind of a creamy off-white color, and they are so dirty and nicked up. And I said to Jim, what do you think if I do these in black? So the kitchen's kind of taken apart. I took the upholstered seats off, which I had redone when I got the chairs. Of course, I got them on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm painting those black. So in that vein, I kind of wanted to spruce up the centerpiece of the table, and I dug around in my basement and I found a couple old candlesticks and a metal, it's not metal, it's kind of a tin looking old engraved bowl. I'll put a picture of it at the end of this, that I had got, oh gosh, I think years and years and years ago. It was on Southern Living, maybe a Southern Living, you know, those parties that they had. Anyway, I thought, oh, for years I've had my big ironstone bowl with those green apples in the middle, and I thought, I love that, but I just want to change. So I wanted to bring up the candlesticks and just kind of spruce things up. So I thought, oh, I need to go get a plant to put in this bowl. And it was like the next day, was last weekend, my neighbor came over, and she loves to snip off and do aloe plants. She just keeps, like, off of an original plant that she had, doing aloe plants, and then she gives them away. And she brought me this big, beautiful aloe plant. I thought, well, what am I going to do with that? So I thought, well, that's perfect. I'll put that in the bowl. I never thought that I would have that in the middle of my kitchen table, but I went and did that, and then got a couple other little plants to put around it, and got that planted yesterday. And it's all setting on my Mackenzie Child black and white checkerboard platter. So this is leading to this. And so I thought, instead of filling like a bowl or a basket or something with a little cross stitch pin keeps and pin cushions, I'm going to throw them on the black and white checkerboard tray. So I thought, well, I'm going to do our initials. I'll start with K, and then I'll do J for Jim. And then there's other little, there's other patterns that I've picked out that I want to do that I'm going to fill that platter with. So I thought, well, I'll start with K, and I can get this done. This was last night while we were sitting watching TV. I thought I'll start with the K, and I can get this one done, and then I can get the J done tonight, and I'll have those started. So I started stitching, and I can't show you the pattern. As I started stitching, the H was right above the K on the pattern. I realized that this wasn't a K, it was an H. So I had to stop. It doesn't look like I got that much done, but it took me a little while to get that far. First of all, let me tell you that I dug through and I found this, it's a 18 count. It says Fiddler's Light, just an Aida cloth that I had. I thought, well, I probably won't stitch anything bigger on that. It was kind of a bigger piece. It was 15 by 18. I'll just cut that into pieces and do little pin keeps out of that. So that's what I'm using. So I thought, okay, that's an H. I might have to finish that off for Hadley, don't you think, and send that to her at some point. But I did get the K done. Let me show you here. I got the K done. And isn't that cute? Because it has those little cherries in it, which I think is so cute. So I'm going to do that into a little pin keep and throw that on my black and white platter. And then I got a really good start on the J. So my plan is when I get that platter full and done that I can share that with you. Until then, what I will do is just throw in a picture at the end so you guys can see how I'm trying to change it up. So anyway, I thought that would be fun to show you because that pattern was free. If you want to go down, go to Fox and Rabbit and download that. So, okay. So for today, last weekend was kind of a busy weekend, and I actually didn't do a Shirley's Cottage or a Black Thread Studio. All I did was got on and did the friend exchange with you, pulled names when I was at work last week. And what my thought was that, and thank you so much for the 6 people that signed up. I think it will be fun. I've already gotten the information out to all of you, so I hope you've shared the information as well. And, you know, whenever you guys get those to each other, please just maybe let me know. I would love for you to send me a picture, either email me a picture at blackthreadstudio@yahoo.com, or you can, I started a hashtag. Did I forget to do that last week or 2 weeks ago? I might have. I started a hashtag. When I show you what I'm doing today, I definitely will put that on there and start the hashtag. It's going to be Black Thread Studio Friend Exchange 2021. I think I did start one, but I will have this on there. If you guys put that on there and use that hashtag, then we can see what everybody made, which will really be fun. Anyway, there were 6 of you that signed up. I thought if there was an odd man out and somebody needed to be partnered up, that I would join in too, because, you know, who doesn't want to join in? That will be so much fun. So there was not an odd man out, but I wanted to, so you're going to sit here with me today while I make my friend exchange. I'll show you what I came up with. And I'm going to send mine to Cece, since she's my friend exchange anyway, and we haven't sent each other anything for quite a while. And the book that I made her, you know what, I will slip a picture of that into. I actually did kind of a muslin fabric book, and my intent was all of hers are going to be little teeny mini quilts, and then when I get ready to, when they get done, I send like a big safety pin with it for her, and then she can just pin it in the book. So that's what I'm going to do today, is just make her a little quilt, and I will show you what I came up with. So I'm going to rearrange you just a little bit. So for CC, you know, part of my still frustration is just because working full time and then on the weekends, I just don't have time to make the things that I want to make. What I did is I thought I'll just go through. I have a little basket that's full of even really old cross stitch. Like I probably did this one, I don't know, 80s maybe. This little one that says hello with that house. I don't know. I'm thinking this might have been a Cricut collection. I also have the one that says goodbye, which was a goose. But I thought, well, you know, there's no sense of having that just sitting in there. And I thought, how fun just to send her this that says hello on it. So I grabbed this. This is how it was in my basket. I grabbed that, and then let me bring you down and show you what else I found. What I did is I'm going to make it into a, teeny tiny quilt. So I found this fabric that I liked for the back. I cut a little piece of batting. And then what I'm going to do, well, I found a couple other little things. A little navy blue safety pin. Cece and I both quilt, so I found this little quilt star. And then I just cut some strips of blue fabric. I didn't even measure them. I just cut. I have some of my cream ivory buttons. And then lo and behold, this beautiful, beautiful strip of hand-dyed velvet ribbon done by the one and only Cece of the Thread Gatherer. So I thought, well, that would be fun. I'm going to actually use this as the binding on the quilt. I did it before on another little mini quilt that I did, and it turned out really well. So I'm hoping this will turn out. So this is my plan that you can do with me, is I'm going to just start stitching. I usually like to start on the top, and I'm just going to stitch strips. I guess it would go this way. I'm going to stitch strips and then cut this down. I think I want it, you know, bordered pretty close to the actual hello, just like that. So I'm going to piece this up, and then we're going to trim it down. So I don't think you need to be with me while I sew that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get it ironed. And I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to stitch so that this is kind of framed like that. And then I will be back. So I thought I'd come back and show you. This is what I did. I sewed my first strip on. I usually start at my right hand side if I'm just gonna like stack and do this, because then my top one will end on top over here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And for me, that just aesthetically is the way I like it. But I'm going to trim this off. I'm gonna iron this back, and then I'll load up the next one. And I'm just gonna go all, whoops, I won't go the top. I'll do the bottom, the side, and then the top. So I will show you when I get all that sewn. So this is what I was talking about, where I like that top to be the finished edge with all these stacked like that. So you can see I could have trimmed down my cross stitch piece first and then just matched up my edges and sewn it, but I didn't want to I didn't feel like measuring and it'd be perfect. So I lined it up and actually it looks pretty good. It got pretty centered. So I just sewed these strips on and then trimmed off my edges. But now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and trim this down. I don't want it to be too big. I think once I fold this over and I have a little edge on there, if I do 1 inch wide, should I do 1.5 inches? I don't want it to be too big. I want it to fit into her little book. You know what? I'll go in between. I'm going to measure 1.25 inches from my cross stitch edge. That way, if I want it shorter, I guess I can do it shorter. So I'm just lining that up. And then I'll see if it's even. Because it might not be after I just willy-nilly stitched all this together and didn't measure. But we'll see what it looks like. I'm wondering, I know that's going to be too big for her to fit into the book, unless she puts it in this way, which she could do. She could do that. Let me see what this is going to look like. If I do this, otherwise I might cut that down even a little bit smaller. I'm going to cut that 1/2 inch off. I'm just going to leave that 1 inch on all the way around. That was my first gut feeling, and I should have just done it. But I'd rather have it too big and be able to cut it down than have cut it too small, right? Okay, so there's all my scraps. And because this is so little, I'm not even gonna pin it or worry about spray basting it, but here's my back. There is a direction on these leaves, I think, so I'm gonna make sure that they are kind of up. And my batting. And then I'll just center that there. And that all will stick right together. And I think what I want to do is I'm just going to do a little bit of quilting on here. I'm thinking about doing hash marks all the way across so that it makes it look like a, what do I want to say? What I'm going to do, I don't know if my little marking pen is working, but let's see if it is. This is an invisible. I'm just going to mark. Yeah, that worked. I'm just going to do 1 inch all the way across. And then the other way. I just want it to look like it was actually, you know, like a little quilt. So I'll mark this, and then I'm going to mark this way, this exact same thing, every inch. So it will have a crosshatch. That's what I wanted to say before, a crosshatch design. So can you see that? Very, very light, but I'm going to stitch that and quilt it down so it will have a crosshatch. So I did show that to you up close. I didn't know if you could see the blue marking line. That one is water soluble. Who makes this one, by the way? Clover. So when I got all my stitching in, I just sprayed it with some water and then ironed it. And I have had some fabrics where the blue didn't come all the way out and I had to spray it and then dab it with like a white towel. But I think that all came out. If not, I can spray it again when I'm done. But I didn't have any qualms about stitching right over my cross stitch and kind of giving that a quilted effect. I kind of like it better, actually, for how I'm doing this. So what we're going to do now is trim all this down, and then we're going to talk about the about that ribbon that I'm going to use for a binding, actually. So I will just trim this down, try to make it as square as I can. And I can't see the camera at all right now, so I'm hoping that you guys can see this. And if you can't, I apologize, and I'll show it to you as soon as I'm done here. Okay, so I got that all squared up. And we are going to embellish it a little bit after we're done. So for right now, I am going to do exactly the same way I did sewing the strips on in the same order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little bit of edge with this ribbon, not much because I don't know if I have enough to go all the way around. But what I'm going to do is fold this over just like that, and then stitch it down. I could use pins or those little clips. Honestly, I don't have enough clips, so I might stick a few more pins in here, or I'm just gonna, since it's not very big, I think I can just pinch it down and hold it by hand. But then after I get each side sewn down, I'm gonna snip it off clean. And then I'm just gonna keep going around and stack it around. So I did get this one side sewn on, and I'm just using a light gray, and I thought I had it held in pretty well, but when I went to go snip these ends off, I did notice that it didn't catch all the way on the back, if you can see that. So what I'm gonna do for the other sides is I'm gonna use my trusty liquid stitch glue. I'm just going to slip that underneath there. And I think what I'm going to do is just glue the ribbon to the back to hold it into place. And I care more about how that top stitching looks from the front than I do from the back. I'm just going to hold that in place for a second here. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to clip that off. And again, these aren't for the purists at heart that don't want to use glue on their projects. There are some times where I don't want to use glue, and then other times. So here's my issue, you guys. I think I'm gonna be running short on my ribbon. I know I am. Okay, I have to think about this for a minute. Why don't I have to think about this for a minute because I'm gonna be running short on the ribbon. I'm gonna dig and see what other ribbon I have, and then I will be right back. So you guys, no judgment zone. This is a huge jar that I have, and when I have ribbons that I want close at hand, and I don't want to have to run down into Black Thread Studio basement to look for ribbon. I jam it in here. A lot of what I have in here are my favorite thread gather. I am almost positive that I don't have any more of this gray. I mean, look at this is Cece's ribbon. But what I'm looking for, okay, what I did while I was gone is I put another strip of the gray on the other side, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do on the top. I do have enough that I could do the top or the bottom, but I don't have enough to go all the way. So I'm actually going to dump this out and see if you guys want to dig through here. If anything else, it'll just be fun to see all the kinds of ribbons that are in here, right? Okay, so what am I going to make that works? Or what am I going to use that works? So, can you even believe all of this stuff that's in here? Oh, okay, look at this. This has some of the gray. Can I be that lucky that I found something that quickly? Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, this has a little bit of yellow in it. It has some of the gray. It's Cece's ribbon. That's it. Okay, I'm going to, and look at how beautiful this is. I'm going to iron it, but look how beautiful. It is so variegated. I can cut out whatever parts of it I want. It's kind of gray and yellows, and then look, it turns to pinks and grays. So I will not be using the pink and gray. Let me make sure I have enough. I'll be using the yellow and gray. So if I trim that to there, and then that to there, I will have plenty before I hit any of the pink that I can use. That turned out really good. And then I can save my other little gray piece for something else. Okay. So I was able to get it stitched all the way around. And when I cut off the end, you can still see it's a little bit wet. What I did was I just put a little bit of liquid stitch glue that's gonna dry clear, just to keep those edges from fraying. If I really wanted to, I could clip these and pinch them together, and that might just work. I might do that once I'm done with all the embellishments, and just kind of clip those together and let that dry, and that will those ends will be closed up. So this is why I'm not gonna say I like mistakes, but I think this ribbon combined with the gray is so much more interesting and pulls out the yellow. And I wouldn't have done that if I wouldn't have run out of the gray. So don't let things like that bother you, because sometimes they turn out better than you even imagined, right? So I'm really happy about this. I think Cece's gonna love it. So let's get on and finish the embellishment, okay? So I already had a few things picked out, and first thing I'm gonna do is I am going to, because I don't want to forget, I'm gonna put my little Black Thread Studio label on the back here. Again, if I'm really being a purist on some things, I actually stitch this on, but for this it doesn't need to be. So my label will be on there for CC, and I think just in one of the flowers in a Sharpie, I'm going to write August 2021. So she'll have the date on there. So I just wrote that in real little. August 2021, I put my label on. Okay, so I had, uh-oh, what happened to my yo-yo? I had a yellow yo-yo. Oh, while I have this here, let me show you. That's what I didn't use of the ribbon, was I used some that had more of the gray and left some that had more of that yellowish in there. Okay, I have to find my yo-yo. I found my yo-yo. So when I dumped out all the ribbons and then scooped them up and shoved them back in the jar, I scooped up my yo-yo with it. So I found it. I had to find it because it was the perfect yellow, and I didn't want to have to make another one. So, but I will show you. This was one that I made by hand without the clover template, and I don't know why I have this white little piece of string there. I don't want to cut it off or pull it because I have a feeling that it's keeping the yo-yo together. So that, okay, some mistakes don't bother me, but that will bother me. So what I decided I was going to do is I found that cute little navy blue safety pin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin that star quilt on. I'm going to pin it onto the yo-yo, and then I'm going to glue that charm into place so it will hang, but I'm going to glue it so that it covers that thread, and then I'm going to glue that whole thing on. So let's get to embellishing, because I'm also going to pick out some buttons to put on there. So let me put a little bit of glue on the back of my charm here and glue that into place. So you guys have seen me use this liquid stitch before. I love it. It dries clear. I'm just going to push that into place. It does hold things like this charm. And I think I was going to put the yo-yo up here and then put a row of little buttons down on the bottom. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just going to put a little bit of this all the way around the edges, and then in the middle. And get my charm back in place. Just give it a good push there. And then while that's drying up a little bit, let's pick out some buttons. So, and again, I like, I have so many jars of these off-white buttons, white buttons. I just seem like I can't get enough of them. Again, I like when they have some of the original thread stuck in there. So I'm going to put 3 across, and I'm going to find 3 that have the original thread stuck in. And let me see if I like all 3 of those together. Put that bigger one in the middle. And see if I like that. That one only is starting to lose some of its thread, so how about if I do that? I don't know, that one's too little. Maybe we'll just use that one that I had. Okay, let's get those into place. A little bit of that liquid stitch glue. The only time this liquid stitch doesn't work as well as I would like it to is if you're gluing on wool, because the wool absorbs the glue. I have been able to get it to work, but I've had to do a lot of glue and really make sure that it's clamped down, where usually if I just push something into place it will stay. Okay, I'm upside down, so I'm going to turn this around and just look at it real quick before that dries up too much and make sure that I like the way that looks. And I do. Give those a good push. And then the last thing I did was grabbed my safety pin, because when I send this to Cece, again, I don't know if it will fit in her little book that I made her, and I will stick a picture in at the end. But I think she'll be able to hang it in her book this way for sure. And then I just send the pins along so she can just pin them in. But you can't just send a safety pin. I do have some gold ones. I was wondering if the gold or silver. You know what, let me grab a gold one. Because the gold would pick up on the yellow, wouldn't it? But I was thinking to do the silver because of the gray. But the gold is kind of pretty, isn't it? It kind of has a little bit more contrast to it. Okay, we're gonna do a gold pin. And this is also something that I believe is Cece's. I think it is, some of the old trims that she had. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut a piece, and just to make this a little bit more decorative, I'm gonna see if I can get that into the end of the pin, just to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit so that it's cute. I'm just gonna tie it off. Tie it off and cut it off so it has a cute little edge to it. Have to fiddle with it just a little bit. There. I'm just gonna cut those edges off a little bit so that they have a nice little fluff to them. And I will send this to her with a nice little note. I get that pin stuck in there, and it's just a little mini friendship quilt for a friendship exchange. I can always sprinkle a little lavender or something on it, some kind of essential oil, and have it smell really good so when she opens it up. So that is saying hello. That is the back with all my cross hatches quilted. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to get something like that in the mail from a friend. Now what should I do with the goodbye? Should I turn that into a little quilt too? So I hope you guys have fun doing your friend exchange and making whatever you end up making. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. This is what I came up with, whether it's paper or fabric or zhuzhed up or plain, however you decide to do it. I know they're gonna be beautiful and that your partner is gonna be so excited to get their friend exchange. thank you guys for participating in that. And let me just say that if, I know I have a couple new subscribers, let me just tell everybody thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. I just appreciate it so much. I always want to say more, and then I think, just stop yourself now. Just don't keep going on and on. But I appreciate every single solitary one of you for being here with me and let me create with you, because it's what makes my heart sing. It's what makes my heart go pitter patter. So have a beautiful Sunday, and I will see you next week. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm kind of off. I'm kind of off. You guys know Rox is coming. I'm trying to get the house ready. Jim has not had any words of wisdom of late, but I do have some that he has for all of us. It's always gonna take longer than you think. Those are his words of wisdom. And this is what it pertains to. We were going to paint the house this spring, and his friend Bob agreed to do it, and we are still waiting for Bob to say that he's going to come and paint the house. So Jim got an estimate on having some siding done. I got all excited about it because I thought I had all these different plans of what we could do, and it was out of budget. So Jim, our house is vertical old cedar planks, and some of them had to be replaced, and Jim is power washing, caulking, priming, and getting ready to paint. We're going to do a darker gray so it makes the white trim pop. And Jim thought that he would have the back patio section done in a week, and we're going into our third week. So that's where Jim says it always takes longer than you think. I told him, of course, I wanted the house done before Rox comes. I've resigned myself to the fact that that's not going to happen. I told him I'll just be so happy if the back patio is put back together before she comes, so we can sit out there and have coffee and just enjoy it. So, oh, hey, I wasn't planning on this, but at the end I'll slip in some pictures of the big mess that Jim has back there so you can see what I'm dealing with. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing next weekend. I would love to think, fingers crossed, that I'm putting the patio back together. So if you want to see the progress of the patio, stop in next week, okay? Bye-bye.